Let me tell you the story behind the planting of this beautiful mulberry tree. Our wonderful neighbours Ben and Michaeleen gave us a butchering lesson.
If you go too far that way, you'll rob your loin chops.
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't want to do that.
They invited us to their home and butchered one of their lambs for us.
Beautiful.
In a straight line to about here.
And showed us how to put the knife to work.
So you wouldn't follow the rib, then you'd just do a straight.
Okay.
Some parts just wasn't what I was expecting.
Look at that, she split the marrow.
Nice job.
Split it like a pro.
Yeah.
Just cut down there.
See, my job's done.
That's another way to have a shoulder.
That's the shoulder, look at that.
Alright.
We'll take two.
Alright, so we're going to debone this one.
We are going to do bone. So first thing we'll do is take the shank off. Yep.
Straight through across there.
Exactly, yep.
No, snap it, Nick, go for it. Come on, Muscles.
Just run it down against the bone. See how like the muscle already goes that way?
Yeah.
So go that way and then that way, so you're cutting against the bone better.
Mm-hmm.
Boning is a very skillful art, one which I imagine would take quite some time to master. Ben and Michaeleen both grew up on farms, so they're well versed in
Back up that way.
Yep.
dispatching and butchering their own meat. They've been doing it since they were kids and they are absolute experts
How deep do you go on this bit?
Only just past
Just
the
score
bone.
it.
Yeah.
and were very patient with us and our lack of skills and knowledge.
So, what did you say?
I said the dogs will love me because
What?
they're going to have plenty of meat left
This
on
dog and
these
this
bones.
dog?
Yeah, these dogs here.
So this is the edge of those bones. So we just want to just cutting to the bone and just keep running it along until you start getting a bit of give and it'll start coming away.
Yeah.
And then once it does, we can work it down.
Okay.
You're in control, Nick.
You can just turn it off if you. Yep. Brilliant. So that's a fantastic start. So now
Just go straight down
just
on this
keep cutting to
bottom
the bone.
piece.
Yep.
Two people just make this so much easier because this meat's just peeling off now. And I can just focus on where I need to cut instead of having to hold it.
Focus, Nick.
I kind of missed that bit, didn't I? That's okay.
Dogs will love you for it.
Yep.
It's separating beautifully. So cut the meat into strips and pretty much like removed as much fat as we could so it's not too fatty but still have enough flavour in the meat.
If you're in the market for your own butcher's block, be sure to check out our website, Running Amuk Off Grid, and find Bob's own handmade boards absolutely stunning for any kitchen in all shapes and sizes. Check them out. And while you're there, have a look at his new rustic, elegant furniture. It is simply sublime. Which brings us back to our mulberry tree, where we buried the remainder and planted our mulberry on top. Of course, everything around here needs to be caged from the sheep. Look what we ended up putting in this cage. Our guinea fowl parents had hatched half a dozen of their eggs and decided enough's enough, we need to take them out to get some food and water, and left the rest of them, which was about a dozen, here to hatch on their own. Thankfully, we found them and were able to rescue them and bring them home and raise them up. They were also bound for the freezer. However, they lived a great life with us and we enjoyed them immensely.
I hope me moving them hasn't disturbed them.
No, I don't think so.
We mostly enjoyed guinea fowl soup and roast guinea fowl. If you're interested in raising guinea fowl, have a look in our Animals Running Amok Off Grid playlist and you'll see the detailed explanation on keeping and enjoying guinea fowl. Of course, I'll share the link in the description below.
Thanks.
Might be another lavender.
Oh, yep. It's going to be a bit difficult me putting it down with one hand.
It's quite an amazing process watching them hatch. Here's a little farmyard chick. Sorry, here's a little farmyard trick. And that is, if you have a broody chicken who's sitting on eggs, wait for the other chickens to lay their eggs. If they're still warm, pop them under your broody chicken and you'll get a larger clutch.
There's no eggs under it.
Any of the guinea fowl eggs that didn't hatch were also given to the pigs. Nothing gets wasted on the farm, and the pigs thoroughly enjoyed this little snack.
You wanted it, didn't you, Tilly? You didn't want it, did you, Maggie? All right, we've got them safely and sound inside. There's another little egg cracking open.
It's perfect. It's a bit of light, no breeze.
Yeah. Oh, out he pops.
We kept the chicks warm and dry, and all of these eggs that you can see here ended up hatching, and we ended up with 12 or 14 beautiful little keets who we were able to raise up for the freezer. YouTube is a wonderful place for a crash course, and we learnt on YouTube what to feed the guinea fowl keets, and we were very successful in feeding them some crushed boiled egg to begin with, and then a high protein diet, which also included meat and a bran mix. So they were healthy and happy, and they tasted absolutely delicious when we were done.
Oops.
As you can see, their mind is geared towards eating a moving prey. So as soon as these dropped pieces of egg stopped moving, they lost interest. So it was a matter of dropping them close enough to the keets that they could see them moving. And then once they're on the ground, I just used my finger to tap to mimic a mother bird, tapping on the ground to show them this is what we need to do to eat. And they caught on quite well. I did the same with the water. Just tapped my finger in the water and they came and drank. So we were quite successful in teaching them to eat and drink, despite the fact that they had never met their biological mother. If you haven't had a chance to visit our YouTube page, click on our profile picture to jump in and have a look. To find out a little more about us, click on the blue text link right next to our profile picture that takes you to our Patreon page.
Because now we have a join for free option. However, you can still choose a paid membership if you would really like to support us and our animals. There's current events like a narrow escape we just had with a huge bushfire and how our community rallied around and saved our home and farm. You might like to stay up to date with our Brumby bailout, Echo and Karango. We share some plans on stuff that I've made and an early sneak peek at our new additions. So jump in, take a look, and please consider supporting us and our animals. Thanks, guys. So I've got to do a bit of fence repair today. I noticed one of our neighbour farmers' friendly bullock calves were in the paddock grazing happily with Betty. And that's fine, I don't mind that, but where there's one, there's a lot more. And so today, got all the other little chores done. Poor Nick, she's editing again, so I've decided to come out and fix up this fence. Now I'm going to put a strainer in, which is going to stop that support post from leaning over and the wire getting all floppy again. So have a look at this. Betty's like, where are you all going? What's going on? Oh. That's good news actually. I'm glad they've gone because I've got to potentially take this fence down. Not all of it, but actually you can see how sloppy it is there, look. See the wire? And down. Hey Betty, what do you reckon, darling? What's going on, celebrity? Eh? Look like you've got really big eyebrows. So you can see that there's got a really bad kink, but they've obviously put a horn in there. So all of this is really sloppy, and this post has probably seen better days, but You can see there was something in there before. It's obviously fallen out. You can give me a hand, Betty. So what I'm going to do is get a strainer, fix it into the post. You'll see. Let's just get on with it. And my poor old Burma Ag Alaskan sawmill saw has died. So I've got to get on and use the little baby still. Gonna get some pliers and we'll get back on up there. There we are. All right guys, so the first thing I've got to do is cut a notch into here and measure back how far I want the strainer to be. Put that in and then strain these wires up. It's as simple as that. So I need 1800 plus the notch plus a bit in the ground. So I reckon if I put this part in the ground, 2 meters, 1900. Yeah. So I'm going to take this fencing away, give myself some really good access. I think the cattle will be alright. So that's going to need replacing soon, I reckon. That's my mark where I'm going to put like a support post at an angle, and then this strainer will go in, bind into that, push against this, and then these wires can tighten all against itself. It's kind of like a grip like that. Hey Betty. Hey Betty. What do you reckon, Betty? Now I know what Betty's like, so I think she wants to go and play with the mouse. So I'm going to leave this one like this. Come on. So she can't jump the fence. Good girl. So that's kind of how it's going to go. Gonna put a point on here, make this slightly bigger, then put the hole in for this little strainer support. I'm going to put a notch in that post there, just to give it a bit of a better key. Kind of like that, guys. That post definitely needs to go that way a bit more. Come on, Betty. Shh. Yeah, set myself up a nice safe working area. Temporary fencing. Oh, look at that view. Do you get a better view than that ever? Anyway, back to it. So what I'm doing, I'm just pounding the dirt around to firm the support post, strainer, whatever you want to call it, up. Is notch that strainer post onto here. There. I mean, you guys have seen me do this before, so probably can't see that. Top one done, one down, 3 to go. Betty's finally settled. I'm watching, making sure I do it all correct. All right, get on with it. I think I might show you this one. So what I've done here, this is the straining wire. I've wrapped it round the post. Then I've done an end knot, which is like the granny knot. So you go around, up and through, and then back over and wrap it around this wire. Then you put the strainer on one side, the tensioner, and then the other side, which you ratchet up on the barb side. Then you grab your chain, put it in the clip, and then start ratcheting up, just like that. And what I'll do is I'll undo this knot, and when I get to the right tension, pull it up tight and wind it on like I've done in the previous one. I reckon that might be enough. One more. Okay, so I'm just going to undo this plain wire, tighten her up. How tight that is. I've got to show you this picture, guys. Have a look at this. Spin around. Have a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? In the shade. Celeb Betty chewing a cud. Dogs licking her bum, no doubt. Oh dear. Job's a good one. What next? So, tight, 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 tight. It's a tight job.